After last week's gigantic episode, this week it is smooth sailing. Another Titanic build video is coming your way on Brickscale Studio. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me. So, as I mentioned, last week was crazy. It was a longer episode, but we got a lot done. Today, when I first started it, I thought maybe it had the makings of being another crazy episode, but actually it all worked out fine. We are putting on some window frames on our officers' quarters and the stairwell gymnasium deck. So we'll walk through that. It's super easy, just a little tedious, but no big deal. So let's get into the build and we'll talk about it after. Here we are with issue 21. So here is our magazine. So they're talking about the Paris Exposition with the Eiffel Tower. All right, it looks like we get another hull piece here. So let's get into our parts. All right, so yes, we have another hull piece here and we have some screws. So let's bring back the main part of the hull. All right, so remember we attached this section in the last episode. So here we're going to be working on this section, and this should be going, because we have to line up side and bottom. Yeah, so it does say to do this. Let's see. So now there is also a lip on the bottom here that makes this a little difficult, or a little tricky, but there we go. Oh, not quite. There we go. So that snaps in like so, and again, we're going to be putting 4 IM screws along the bottom, and then 2 of our Allen screws on the side here. So let's get the IM screws open. And these are those flange screws. All right, there are the flange screws in, and now we need to put in those 2 KM screws. All right, so these are going to be a little tricky. I'm not sure if you can see that, but this one is way down here. And then our next one is way down at the bottom, and then our next one's over here. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, because I can barely see what I'm doing.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'm not going to lie, this bottom one was a real pain because it is so narrow in here. It's very hard, so I'm hoping that as we get further along and the ship is wider, that these will not be... I think this is probably going to be the most difficult one. But my goodness, what a pain. So that is it for this issue, which I'm kind of glad because that was a lot of work. So we got this piece of hull on, so let's move on to issue 22. Here's issue 22, and I feel like, just like our last episode, I feel like there is going to be a lot of... Yes, so we have all these little window elements to put in. And so I don't believe this is going to be too difficult, but I just think it's going to be tedious and time-consuming. We're also doing the same thing. We're taking apart that second funnel we made, which I don't know why they have us put it all together. Why don't they just have us do this from the jump? It'd be so much easier. And then we have another lighting element to put in. just like we did in the last episode. So let's get into this one. Here's our parts pack. All right, so we have all of our window elements here, which I can't even pick up this thing. So here are all of our little, and these are metal, just like those grills that we did in the last episode. So here are all of our window pieces. We have another plastic band to do our funnel. We have the funnel extension cable, and then we have another lighting element, which I'm going to leave in the bag until we need it. So it looks like the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching windows to the officers' quarters. So all of these little sections here are going to get these little window pieces. See, it looks like they're all square pieces for the officers' quarters. So let me get these cut off and I will be right back. All right, so these are all of our little windows. You probably can't see them very well, but there are 24 of these little windows, and we will be putting them on the officers' quarters. So I am just going to set them over here on my tray. So we're just going to do, I'll show you one, and then I'll just do the rest and bring you back when we're finished, because it's going to be very tedious. So there are, which again, I doubt you're going to be able to see, but there's sort of a horizontal bar that's up in the upper third. That goes toward the top. So what we're going to do is just take a little glue and, yeah, this... And those are going to go in just like so. All right, so I will bring you back when I am finished with those. Okay, so here is the officers' quarters. So we got the windows on. I'm not going to lie, it was a bit tedious, although not super difficult. What I found that worked the best was I have this little, which I don't even know if you can see, but I have this little piece of plastic bag that I put a little pool of glue, and I would pick up the window with my tweezer and just like kind of tap the corner and then put it in here. And that seemed to work very well. Once I sort of got into the rhythm, it worked out pretty well. This one's a little misaligned, but it'll be okay. All right, so I think we're going to be doing the same thing. Yes, we're going to be doing the same thing over here, but on this side, we're going to be doing these rounded windows. So let me get those cut off. Okay, this is the last one. All right, and it does not want us to put any on these two. So the instructions say that we should have 4 windows left over, which we do, and that we're going to save those for another issue. But there is, so we did this side, this one, this side, and then we're leaving these 2 off for some reason, and we're saving the 4 windows on there. And we just want to make sure that nothing is falling off. Cool. So let me give that just a second to kind of set up, because we're going to be working on, yeah, the next part of the instructions say that we're going to attach the light strip in here. But I'm going to actually go out of order, because the next step is we're going to take our funnel apart that we built last time. So yeah, our funnel that we built last time, we're going to be taking the tank out, putting the band on it, putting the extension cable, which again, why we did not just do all of this in the beginning, I do not know, but anyway, that's how it is. And then we'll come back to this, put the lights on, and then our last step will be attaching the funnel. So let's set this aside. All right. So hopefully this side will go a little better than the last one. Yeah, this one came out a little easier. So again, we want to take this and we have, where did it go? Here it is. We have this plastic band. That we want to secure this cable. Like, again, why this did not happen when we put this all together, I do not know. Maybe it was an after a quality control issue, like after the fact. They discovered that, oh no, this doesn't really work all that well. We need to have a fix or something. Because it would just seem to make sense that while we're putting this all together, that we just do this all at once. Like, it's just crazy to me. And then we have our little extension wire. So again, we want to thread this through. So we want to make the small end come out the bottom and the larger end is coming out the top because it's going to connect to here eventually. All right, now we want to bring back, hopefully our windows have set up. And we want to, let's do the lights first because we'll need to feed this cord in this little notch of the circuit breaker. Or the circuit board, not the breaker. And of course, if you hear noise, the landscapers decided to show up right when I started doing this part of the video. So again, we want to make sure that we are orienting this. And there is a little notch here that will kind of help. I mean, it'll help you figure this out. I mean, it can really only go in one way. Actually, you know what? We did not test our lights, so let's do that first before we get too carried away here. Yay! So we can see that they are working. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to disconnect those. I'm going to keep the battery box handy because I want to test them when we're done here because this is a tight fit in here. Yeah, I don't like how close this end is to the edge. All right, I think that is in there. So let me just test this again really quick. I'm not going to turn out the lights or anything. We'll just... Yay, they all still work. Perfect. All right, now we can attach our funnel. And again, this is going to go down here. I want to make sure that we got this going in the right way. Yep. And so we're going to secure that with 2 AP screws. All right, perfect. Okay, so, all right, so we have our 4 extra windows, we have our smoke generator, and we have our 2, oh, hold on, let me put this back on there. All right, so we've got, we have our other smoke generator right here, so we are good. We are matching the picture. We got our 2 smoke generators, our 4 windows, and our 2 funnels there. So that is the end of this episode for the scale model side. So let's get into the Lego side. Here we are on the Lego side. So if you remember in the last episode, we finished off that front part of the ship that we were working on, and we installed that lighting piece, and then we started in on this section that's going behind the part that we had been working on. So we're going to continue on this, steps 151 through 165. Okay, that is the end of step 165. So just like that, we have built this section up from a kind of a flat plate all the way up. So that will do it for the Lego side. All right, let's recap what we have done in this episode. All right. So, for the Lego side, like I said, we built this section up quite a bit from where we started with sort of that flat plate. And then on the scale model side, we attached a bunch of windows. We got this funnel and lighting attached, windows on this piece as well. We also have the 2 smoke generators that we have set aside. And then we put in this section of hull, which was a little challenging with that bottom screw in there. But pretty good progress in this episode. So that will do it for episode 11. What did I tell you? Super easy. Those window sections were not difficult at all. I think I maybe cut out 4 minutes total for both decks. So not difficult at all. Like I said, once I got into the rhythm, super easy. I did end up getting super glue on my fingers, but I did not glue them together. So I mentioned that in the next episode as well. So let's do our summary really quick. So for the scale model, we completed 11 steps and used 43 parts. High part count because of all those little window pieces. On the Lego side, 62 steps and 157 parts. And total to date, 136 steps and 240 parts on the scale model side, and 339 steps and 1,141 parts on the Lego side. All right, so we finally crested over that 10% mark for the Lego parts. So we're over 1,000, so that's exciting. And it's starting to look really good. We built up that deck piece, so we're going to be working more on that next week. And next week, I think, is even a more chill episode than this week. So be sure to stay tuned for Saturday. We have another Batmobile episode coming your way. And then Tuesday, Optimus Prime is cooking along. We're building up the legs. So pretty exciting there. It's kind of funny. Well, I won't give it away. You'll just have to watch the episode. Be sure to check out our website at brickscalestudio.com. We have some great new and used Lego sets for sale, a link to all the YouTube videos, plus you can sign up for a newsletter that's launching this fall. And also remember, like, share, subscribe. We're trying to hit those milestones to give away more free Lego sets. And until we see each other again, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.